the Goal and Strategy Workshop for 2026. I'm going to show you how to crush your goals. First, set the goals, and then we'll talk about how to crush them. All right, I'd like you to grab a pen and a paper, a pad of paper and a pen if you don't have one. You're really going to want to take notes. We're going to be writing down some numbers. And this is a working webinar. This is not just a movie to watch. I want you to take some action here and let's write some stuff down and get your numbers together. So I want you to have, by the time we're done, I want you to have a working plan. If you would, give me about 40 minutes, focus on it. It's going to be worth your time. And then take notes. I promise it's going to be extremely valuable for you in 2026. We're going to build your roadmap for 2026. So not only setting the goals, I'm going to tell you exactly how to reach those. My goal is to help you create an elf business. This is something I got from a mentor, Joe Polish. He's out here in Phoenix, but he always had this great acronym. You want to build a elf business, which is easy, lucrative, and fun. So for the goal and strategy workshop, we're going to set your 2026 goals. And then we're going to figure out your magic number. Your magic number is how many leads you need each week in order to reach your goals. And I'm going to show you why that's important and why what you're working on really comes down to that number. That's the most important number. It's not the monetary number that you want to hit. It's the number of leads that you need in order to hit that number. So, and we're going to discuss how to lower that number. So, whatever your magic number is, I want to help you bring that down, make it easier. So, I'll show you 4 key ways to grow the flooring business fast. So, one question, play along if you will. When you're going on a road trip, what's the most important thing to know? Anybody?
How far you're going? Where you're going?
That's it. Who said
Yes,
that? Where you're going,
big. Ah.
right? So, that's absolutely it. I mean, you got to know where you're going. We got a showroom visit coming up in Alabama. So now I know where I'm going. Now I can build my map to get there. I can get the flight. I can get the hotel. I can get the rental car. Once I know the destination, then I figure out how to get there. That's why this goal setting is so important, knowing where you want to get to and then work your way backwards to figure out how to reach that goal. It's not just wanting to do better. You really need that measurement, that thing to strive for. So, if everybody will take a couple minutes and think about your goals for 2026, write down on pad of paper, what did you sell in 2025? What was your top line revenue in 2025? Make a note of that. If you don't have it in front of you, maybe you have to look it up after this. So make a note of these things, but write it down. What did you sell in 2025? I'm going to give you guys a minute to figure that out. And what's the total you'd like to sell in 2026? I'm encouraging you all to start at a 30% higher number. So let's say you sold 1.5 million times 30% is an extra 450,000. So that brings you to 1,950,000. I think with the changes in the economy, and if you participate and you actively do the stuff we're talking about, a 30% will be simple for most of you. Okay, anybody need more time? Or are you guys good? I don't have a video on you guys, so I gotta pretend it's thumbs up here. And just put in the comments there. If you're good, let me know. Okay. All right, cool. Sounds good. Nick, Todd, we're good. Chad, awesome. All right, so if you're 750,000, do you want to be $1 million producer? How about a $1 million increase in 2025? And maybe you just want to be more efficient, more profitable, and work fewer hours. That's your goal? Write that stuff down. Is your goal to be able to spend less time there? I have one client, his goal is to be able to take a vacation with his wife. He hasn't been able to do that, leave the company and allow it to work without him there. That's something that everybody's capable of doing if you do the right things here, put the right things in place. This is something I used to always do when I was setting my goals. I would say, all right, it's December 31st, 2026, and what's the story I would want to tell? I would create my story of where did I want to get? Do I want to hire more salespeople? Do I want to open a new showroom? Whatever my goals were for the next year, I kind of write it down in a story form as like, this is the story I want to tell. And that's awesome, Frank. Good job. Um, so the story I want to tell, and then I could work my way back. It's like, okay, what do I have to do to make this story come true? Another thing, and I didn't put this in this presentation, but one thing I would encourage you guys to do, we have surfaces that are coming up. You might have a Mohawk or Shaw convention. If you're in a buying group, you can go to one of those conventions. When you go to those conventions, take several copies with you. And when you're sitting down with your rep for Mohawk or for Shaw or for your buying group, sit down with them and say, these are my goals. This is what I want to do the next year. How can you help me reach my goals? Because what those guys will do is they have an agenda to sell certain things. Okay. They got new products they want to introduce. They want you to do certain things. So you're following their agenda. Well, why not make it your agenda? Who cares about their agenda? Tell them what you want to do, and we'll do stuff like I'm working with Revwood or working with Mohawk. Hey, I want to reach this goal next year. I'd like to do more in Revwood. Can you, for a quarter or a couple quarters, give me a little better price on Revwood and give me some extra co-op money? You guys can ask for extra co-op money. Co-op money is earned, but all of you can ask for it. Now, and the worst that can happen is they say no. But a lot of times people don't use their co-op money. So a lot of times if you're building a good relationship with somebody, and these guys will love the conversation because the conversation turns into, okay, help me grow my business. Not just give me cheaper stuff, give me cheaper stuff. That's what most people are saying. But you're saying, hey, work with me, help me grow my business, help me with my marketing, help me with my sales, help me, maybe give me a promotion on something and give me additional co-op money. This is a new client of mine. We started last year, and he did almost $1 million in his first year. Greg Edwards. He was doing just working as an installer, and he still has that program. He opened up a retail store, and from scratch, we were able to do this with a good plan in place. Got a new showroom. He had no existing business, no existing retail clients. Just implemented this process and has a new salesperson even that's doing fantastic right out of the gate. So just an example of what you guys can do. All right, to get unstuck, you first need to understand where we're at. And that's the one thing everybody says to us when they call me and we have our one-on-one call, a lot of people are stuck. They're stuck at 1.7, 2.5. They just hit a plateau. And sometimes it's years that they've been at the same number and they can't seem to grow past it. So to get unstuck, we got to understand what was your total sales amount in 2025. You got to know what your average ticket was. Do the math, figure it out. We're going to show you in a second. What was your profit margin over the last year? And you don't need to go back 3 or 4 years. You don't need to go back 2 years. We can take the data from last year and really drill down and make a significant change. That whatever happened in the last 2 to 5 years is not going to be nearly as important or impactful. What's your closing rate? What was your closing rate over the last year? A little secret, the way that people shop is not dramatically different from the way they used to shop. the way we sell has become dramatically different, and it's changed things a lot for people that I think a lot for the worse, not for the better. So know your numbers. These are easy to figure out. So let's go over it. What's your average ticket? Well, take all your total sales and divide that by your total customers. So if you had a total sales last year of 675,000 and you had 150 customers last year, your average ticket would have been $4,500. And when you're doing this exercise, you can even take out the outliers. Let's say you're doing both residential and commercial. If you want to take out the commercial and focus just on residential retail, look at the installs that you did in home. If you're somebody that sells area rugs, some material sales, you might take out those small ticket sales and just look at what your installed sales were. It gives you good data that you can build on. What was your closing rate? Okay, how many leads did you get? Now, when I'm doing the closing rate, I want to figure out how many appointments did I get in the home? How many opportunities did I have to sell somebody? If somebody walks in my store and then doesn't find what they're looking for and walk out, I don't count that as a lead. If you want to drill down and count every call and everybody that walks in your door as a lead, then what you'll want to do is use that information for marketing. We don't use that information for that whole selling. We want to figure out and drill down so we can increase our closing rate. So I'm just looking at how many opportunities did you had. You got their name, email, phone address, and you have an appointment with them. So you had went out to their house and you gave them an estimate. What's your closing rate based on estimates that you gave? How many did you sell? So it's simple. Souls, jobs divided by leads equal your closing rate. If you don't have an idea, and there's a lot of people that don't know, so it's okay if you don't have a good idea of where you're at with this. I want to give you some averages from what I've seen across the country in working with over 150 flooring dealers. I've seen before they start working with me, closing rates 40% and lower. So you can use that number for now, but profit margins are around 35%. Average ticket, if you're somebody that specializes in wood or tile, the average ticket tends to be higher, $6,500 or more. If it's a combination of hard surface and carpet, the average ticket tends to be about 4,500. If it's mostly carpet, then your average ticket tends to be a little bit lower. So I'm going to take this client as an example. We have a client now and he did 1.7 million, or no, I'm sorry, he did 700,000 last year. But our goal for him in 2026 is to get to 2 million. His average ticket is $4,500 and his closing rate right now is 40%. Hang on one second. So I don't want this to rub you guys the wrong way, but I'm in Arizona and it's hot. I had to turn on the fan. So I'm sorry. I know a lot of you guys are freezing. All right, here's a chart I made up that will tell you how to reach $1 million in sales. So you can look at this and break it down. But I'm going to show you how to break it down more. Even in this guy, his average ticket was $4,500 and his closing rate was 40%. So we know he needs 222 jobs, which is 19 sales each month. In order to get that, he needs 556 leads, and that's times two. He needs 1,100 leads in order to reach his revenue goal. All right, so let's break it down again. Last year he did 730,000. The goal is to get to 2 million. So average ticket 4,500. He needs 444 sold customers to reach his goal. And then he needs, with a 40% closing rate, he'll need 1,112 opportunities or leads. That's 92 leads per month. And that makes his magic number 22 leads a week. Okay. Does that make sense to a lot of you guys? Can you in the chat? Yes. Hell no. Jerry, I don't get this. Okay, Tommy, thanks. Jola. All right, good. So it's something that you guys can measure week after week. We can see this is our magic number. You don't have to focus on revenue. You don't have to focus on much of anything else. You're really dialed in and focused on getting the leads because you know that you need that many leads to reach your revenue goal. And if you do that, if you're able to get those leads, the math works out. You'll end up reaching your revenue goal. I want to show you an idea. This is my goal for 2026. My goal is 36 million, and what that is my goal is to add $1 million for all of my clients, and my stretch goal is 46 million. So I want 36 committed flooring retailers who want to increase sales by $1 million. I'd like to add 10 showroom visits. I love doing showroom visits, doing one in Alabama in a couple weeks. It's going to be great. But that's about one per month. We're going to take on a maximum of 4 new clients per month. So we have time and we could dedicate good time to work with each client. We don't want too many. And then 1 new showroom visit per month. I need 11 leads with my closing rate and all that. I need 11 leads a month to reach my revenue goals. So I practice what I preach. Show you, I do the goal exercise too. So discover 4 ways that you can grow your flooring business in 2026. So let's get how you can reach your goals faster. How can you improve your marketing? How can you raise your average ticket price? How can you increase your closing rate? And then I'm going to show you an easy, fast way to get there, how to hit that easy button. So let's start off with your marketing. This website is a client. He's the one. I'll show you an example of him. He did 900,000 more in 2025. One of the things we improved was his website. He got a better web company too. There's a lot of really bad web companies that are just doing a horrible job. Some of the biggest guys out there, they're just doing a terrible job for you guys. And the approach that they take is trying to figure out how to get you to spend the least amount of money possible, not the most to be effective. So they're inexpensive. They feel like they're expensive because you're not getting results. But the truth is they're not charging you enough, but they're also not doing it right. They're not focused on the right things based on your spend. They're not getting the results that you need. A big pet peeve of mine is up in the header. You see his headers: laminate, luxury vinyl, pricing. We have carpet and redwood. It's the products that people are looking for rather than products, services, um, just these things. Customers aren't looking for products. Nobody does a Google search for products, or nobody does a Google search for services. So, Brian, who's building good websites, I got a handful of people I could recommend for you that does. One of them's Flooring Pros Marketing. I've got another guy, Dan at B3X. But then there's a couple other ones that I really like too. So I've got a few that are building it, and some that build good websites, but they're not necessarily good at marketing. But they're good to work with. So another company can come in and provide SEO and pay-per-click, and they'll work with that company. So I've seen that a lot as well. Okay, spend some money and do it the right way. I've seen it a lot. How much do you want to spend for pay-per-click advertising? And they say, well, I'll do $800 a month. Well, if they were good, they'd give you the advice that $800 is not going to get you anywhere. But what they do is they spend the money that you're comfortable with, and then they water it down between several product categories. Oh, we do carpet, we do tile, we do wood, we do luxury vinyl, and then what areas do you cover? Oh, we'll cover up to 30 miles from our showroom. Well, you're not going to get anywhere doing that. If you're spending a very little bit amount of money, you want to be very targeted. If $1,500 minimum per product category. So if you're spending 1,500 on pay-per-click specifically, then you want to be within 10 miles of your showroom. You want to do it just on carpet. I'm sorry, 15 miles within your showroom. 10 miles won't spend $1,500. But some of these things they have to know, and they have to give you that advice, and none of them have the courage to give you that kind of advice and information. So, and actually, it's not that they don't have the courage. They really don't know, because everything they do is very generic based on Google recommendations, which is also very generic. They don't drill down and tell you how to get effectiveness from your marketing other than increasing your spend. I recommend that you spend about 3,500 per month per $1 million that you're doing. Now, that's actually a little bit on the low side. Some of you aren't spending near that much, and but if you want to be aggressively growing your business, a 7 to 10% amount is probably where you should be at. This is about 4%, 4.5%, but it gives you a baseline to start, just to give you an idea what you should be spending, and not just on your website, your overall marketing. But if you're doing it right, your spend should be right, where you're getting good results. Understand how to do SEO and pay-per-click correctly. And you don't have to do it yourself, but you have to know enough to give good advice and instruction to your guys. Yeah, it's overall marketing, Brian. You have to know enough to give advice to your marketing company and have those meetings with them where they know. What's up, Hayden?
All right, I have a really dumb question. So I've noticed that I'm seeing my own ads on social media. Like, should I be blocking myself from
No, you don't
seeing
need to
it,
block
or
yourself. I mean,
because
that's
I
not
feel
a
like I'm
bad
getting hit like
thing.
a fuck every time it comes across. You know what I mean?
Well, not necessarily, because the retargeting works, and that's actually the next thing on my list here is the retargeting. The way retargeting works is when you see the ads, you pay for it when somebody clicks on it, not for the view. So
Okay.
retargeting is a must. Everybody should be doing that. But you might also be checking out your competition, so you're seeing all their ads, and you're like, God damn it, these guys are everywhere. So that can be a little bit frustrating sometimes when you feel like, man, these guys are everywhere. Ah, okay. Next, sign up for LSA ads. I actually wasn't a fan of this before, but I was talking to one of my mentors, and he said, yeah, everybody should be doing LSA ads. Now, the problem I have with LSA ads, those are Google guaranteed. When people quickly do business with you, that lead is not as good as somebody visiting your website, looking through, and kind of getting to know you. We found that those leads have a lower closing rate. So if I get those leads, then what I want to do is develop a strategy to better handle those leads by giving them more information up front, giving an idea of what the costs are, giving them a little bit more information maybe when I get the appointment. I'm going to try and handle those leads in a more strategic way. So one, I make sure that they are a good lead, and two, I give myself a better chance of closing that sale. Make your website easy to navigate, and that's what I was telling them about the header. Make it easy to find where they want to go. Take a look at your website. Is it easy for a consumer to go in there and navigate? Is it easy to find estimates? Do you have an estimate button, or you want an appointment? Is it easy to find your location? I went to a new client's website the other day. His doesn't have the address on his website. And the address should be on the front, and it should be a clickable link. So somebody clicks on it and they go right to your Google Maps. If you don't have that, shame on your web company. They should be taking care of that for you. You guys shouldn't have to know all this stuff. And that's kind of an aggravation of mine. I think web companies should know enough to take care of you. But the truth is you have to get more knowledgeable about this stuff if you want them to perform well. I showed who's the best marketing company in the flooring industry. The best is you. The only people who are getting good results are the ones that are involved in their marketing. If you're not involved, you're not getting results. You can't just trust that they're going to do a good job. So this is a huge pet peeve of mine too. When somebody goes to request an estimate, so they put in all their information, name, address, phone number, what they're looking for, and they submit estimate on the button. What comes up next? Does it say thank you and that's it? And again, that's something your web company should provide a better service, but you should have a good message that gets them excited. You go into ChatGPT. Hey, I want to get a customer that's looking for an estimate excited about having me out. So when they click on that, the customer sees a message saying, "Hey, we've got you taken care of. We're looking over your information right now. My team's reviewing your information. We'll get back to you soon to schedule your free and home estimate. Meanwhile, here's some good pages that you can look at. Maybe keep them on your website. Get them excited about the appointment. And then is that same customer getting an email with the same kind of message? And the message is basically, hey, we've got your back. We're excited for you. We're going to bring samples out, give you a guaranteed in-home estimate, and with no pressure. So just relax. We got you taken care of. That's the kind of message you want. Huge opportunity for you guys to improve your free social media efforts. I just did a post on the Flooring Dealer Forum about how bad these promo box ads are. And some people defended them, saying, well, not everybody's the same. I'm sorry, bad advertising is bad advertising. Those promo box advertisings are the biggest waste of space I've ever seen. And I think they're actually hurting your brand. They're not helping it at all. Um, and I have a rule, I don't attack companies, but I don't even look at promo box as a company. I don't know what they are and who they are, but whatever they're doing is not helping any of you. And a lot of people take their co-op money and spend it on the promo box ads because it's easy, or your buying group gives that for free, or social media. And you think, well, at least it's something. No, it's nothing. Nobody's going to look at a promo box ad. So there's a lot of things you can do to make your ad stand out. One, dominate a product category. Instead of advertising luxury vinyl, laminate, or hardwood or carpet, take a product category like Redwood or Cortec or Lions Flooring, or name it yourself and advertise the hell out of that product. Now, while everybody else is generically advertising just LVP or laminate, you could be advertising something specific that makes a customer go, I want to see what he's talking about. This flooring is great for stairs. This flooring is great for basement homes. And if you're advertising it over and over again, people will respond to that product. They want to see that product. It's like Gucci, it's like Louis Vuitton, like Hunter Douglas window coverings. I did fantastic with Hunter Douglas. When I changed to dedicating to that brand, I did fantastic because it was a brand that they advertised themselves too, which helped a lot. But women were looking for that luxury item. They wanted something good, and they will go to a brand versus generic flooring. Shoot videos and create good ads. I got in the background. Shoot the damn video. I've been saying this for years. Some of you are doing a fantastic job shooting the video. And there is somebody asked a question in the forum too. Who do you know that I could follow and copy? Adrian at Brevard Tile, Jay at Jay's Flooring. He does a great job. Um, there's a few others out there. Jamel Flooring, they're doing a great job. Um, Carpets by Otto, they're doing a great job. There's a lot of people that you should follow because you can get good ideas from them. Steal that concept, steal that idea. And then there's creating the good ads, like a good message. Um, Post them on Facebook, Instagram. Look, even if you took those promo box ads and you could change the description of the promo box to make it much, much better. Again, tag it into ChatGPT. Say, hey, give me an exciting ad that will stop the scroll. Well, use these things are there for you guys. It's making everything so much easier for you. That's the main thing. Your goal is to stop the scroll. I always picture who's your target audience. To me, the target audience is a woman. She's sitting on her couch, got home from work, and she's watching TV with her husband. And if he's watching football, then she's probably scrolling through her phone. No matter what they're watching, they're scrolling through their phone. All of us do it now while they're watching TV. How are you going to get their attention? You really got to stand out to get their attention. So, what can you do? Now, here's a unique idea that nobody's doing. And I think it's a unique opportunity that all of you have where you could really stand out in your market. I'm always searching for what's that one thing I can do that nobody else is doing. When I got into the business, it was getting reviews. Well, now it's at the point where everybody's doing a decent job getting reviews. So that's not as big of a factor as what it used to be when we first got into business. It's still a big factor, but I'm saying that it's very competitive, and a lot of people have caught up on doing a good job getting reviews. Second thing was getting on social media. Well, now everybody's on social media. So where else can you go where nobody else is? Man, YouTube. YouTube's owned by Google. So you can get on YouTube and have the be seen, get your video shown. What's really cool, you can get your video shown by ChatGPT. So if somebody goes in there saying, "What would you recommend, luxury vinyl or laminate?" and all of a sudden maybe you show up on ChatGPT. Okay, that was number one, is make your marketing better. That's how you can lower your magic number, attract better customers. Uh, Not necessarily, it's not always about getting more customers, but it is about attracting better customers, attracting people. And I'm doing with our clients, showing them how to increase the average ticket. We are really pushing for that $10,000, $12,000 job and getting people interested in doing bigger projects. So we're doing a better job attracting those customers. All right, your number two job is make it easy for your salespeople to be successful. That's your job. If you're the owner, your job is to make it easy for your salespeople. Selling should be fun and easy. That alone will increase your profits by 10%. All right, how do you make it easy for them? Well, one, offer higher end products. It's actually easier to sell higher end products. Your closing rate goes up when your average ticket is higher. But stick to higher end products, and not stick to it, but offer them and lead with those. Uh, we did in our showroom, our most expensive product was Tough Tex. And then my son brought in Fabrica. After he bought in Fabrica, we started selling the hell out of Tough Tex because Tough Tex was $8 to $12 a foot, and that's all inclusive installed, where Fabrica was $18 to $22 a foot. So all of a sudden, Tough Tex wasn't as expensive because it was sitting next to Fabrica, and they still sell a hell of a lot of Tough Tex and a little bit of Fabrica. Bundle your services. Look, there's no reason why you guys should be making it complicated to buy from you. You can make it so simple to buy from you. This getting into the details, doing line item quotes, figuring out every line item is crazy because I'll give you a good example. When you're doing, let's say you're doing luxury vinyl, when you're installing it, you have to do something with the baseboards. Are you putting in quarter round? Are you putting in new baseboards? Whatever you do most often, you're going to have to do some floor prep. You're going to have to move the furniture. Now, the reality is anybody that can afford new flooring has a bad back and they don't want to move their own furniture. So, would you agree? And you guys say that people want to save money. If the impression is always that people want to save money, people want to save money. Well, guess what? If they want to save money, they're not going to be buying new flooring. Nobody has to buy new flooring. Who's shopping for flooring when they can't afford food, or gas? This is not a desperate purchase that I need to make. Maybe it is for somebody selling the house, but that's it. Out of 10 appointments, 9 of them are interested in getting something more beautiful, right? So bundle it all together. So, all right, Foo, we'll talk to you later. See you on Monday. Um, so bundle it all together, make it easy. Tina saw it. Tina and James Salas, they were taking a lot of time building quotes, and they bundled it. James just started selling in the home. Bam, piece of cake. He was having fun, super high margins, loved it. Have your material priced on the board or on the sample deck. I like having the prices in the showroom. It makes it easier for customers to see. People will gravitate to more expensive things. And when you have the prices on those, you make it so much less about the price. This is something very interesting. Now, if somebody calls you and asks you, how much do you charge? What do you think about that client? What do you think about that customer? Most of you will say, well, they're price shopping. They're calling all around town. Well, what's a better first question? Nobody knows a better first question that that customer should be asking, but they're judging them as a price shopper. And the fact is there's no better first question. That's just a normal first question. So don't judge them as a price shopper. All right. Hang on a second. Okay, so when you have the material, when they come into your showroom and there's no prices on the display, and you have to tell them what things cost, then they think they're being judged as a price shopper. Again, it's a normal question to ask, but since you don't have prices anywhere, they have to ask you what the price is. They want to get a sense of what this is. And it doesn't mean that they're sensitive or anything to the budget, but isn't that a normal question? We all look at the prices before we buy anything, whether it's food or cars or clothing. You're all going to look at the prices, even if you can afford whatever, no matter how wealthy you are. So having it on there, people gravitate towards more expensive and they feel uncomfortable having to ask you. Now, if you have a QR code, they look it up, and now what's happening? Now you're forcing them to remember. I also don't like these digital displays because with the digital display, I look up, I see the price, and then I look at the product. And I'm always comparing prices that way. But if it's on the board, then I don't have to look it up. I can see what I like and then justify the costs in my own head. You don't have to do that as a salesperson. And I'm telling you guys, there is absolutely no reason. I have yet to find a good reason why you couldn't produce a quote in 10 minutes in somebody's home. I mean, the toughest part is the measuring. Once you got the measuring down, and if you're using anything like Measure Mobile or Measure Square, it's really easy for you. And for a lot of you pros, you already know how to measure it. I never used any of that, and measuring was kind of fun. Actually, I liked figuring out how much carpet they needed. For hard surface, it was a piece of cake. But measuring and giving a quote in the home, it's so easy. And bringing that estimate back, it makes no sense. Now, gentleman that actually he just left is Fu, and I had a couple others. Some of the reasons they've given us for not wanting to hire me and work with me is because they don't have enough time for the coaching calls. And I'm telling you, I'll save you an hour each appointment because you are taking an additional hour for every customer you have. That was a problem Tina and James Salas had. He would take an hour to figure everything out once he got home and then email that quote. And his closing rate goes down. It's much lower doing it that way. Why not just take 5 minutes and write it up there at their table? And that's the way we used to do it before we had email. At one time we didn't have email. We couldn't give them a quote. At one time you didn't have a fancy program. So how the hell were we able to do it then? But now all of a sudden we can't. How is it more complicated to give a quote today than it was 20 years ago? That doesn't make any sense. All right, I love this analogy. So let's make love tomorrow. Imagine you guys are on a date. You guys, some of you have heard this. Imagine you're on a date and things are going great, and you come back to your house and you guys sit down watching Netflix, you pour a glass of wine, and things get hot and heavy. And you start to take each other's clothes off. And then you turn to her and say, "Let's have sex tomorrow." How how exciting is that going to be? There goes all the thrill, there goes all the action. So it's not going to go over very well. That's what happens when you go out to the home and you go out, you decorate, and you measure. I'll give you a quote tomorrow. I'll give you a quote later today. I'll send it to you in an email. You just said it's not that relevant, right? It's not that important to them. They can wait. We live in an Amazon age, people. I ordered something earlier today, got it in 2 hours, but you can't provide an estimate when you go out to their home. Again, there's no reason why you can't do that. So your job is to decorate, have fun, get her excited about the project, get her excited about something that she wants to do. Why would you waste that excitement and enthusiasm by sending an email the next day? I've got some people that can't. are 5 days out on giving an estimate. It's like, are you mad? So if you care about your customer, if you believe it's in her best interest to go with you over anyone else, if you want to protect her from getting screwed over by companies like Empire, then you have an obligation to close that sale. Does that make sense? So, oh, Tommy, is there ever a time? I love this question. Is there ever a time when we couldn't create a quote on site? Multiple options. All right, let's talk about multiple options. And this is one way we train you to sell. When somebody asks for multiple options, you say okay, and then don't do it. So give them a quote for what you recommend as a professional. Give them one price for the whole project. You know, make them ask you again. Because I'm going to tell you, sometimes people won't ask you again. They'll say, you know what, that sounds good. I don't need to break it down. I don't need to do that. And then the next thing I do, if they say break it down, then I only give them a difference in price. Yeah, doing it that way will cost $300 less. Doing it this way, these rooms would be this and this would be this. I do that on the same invoice, but I cut that way down because you're making it by giving them multiple estimates. One thing is you'll see your closing rate goes down. The people that ask for multiple estimates, when you do that, everybody gets so frustrated because those people never buy. And the problem is they're having trouble making up their mind. Look, everything I'm showing you guys is in the best interest of the customer. It's in the best interest of the customer for you to give them a quote in the home. It's in the best interest of the customer for you to bundle and include all these services and give them a better experience, such as moving their furniture, leveling their floors, giving them new baseboards. That's better for the customer, even at a higher price. It's better for the customer to give them one quote than to give them multiple quotes and multiple options. You're making it easier on there. And that's where you need to be the professional designer, decorator, salesperson, and say, I don't think you're going to like that. I think you should do it this way. I don't think you're going to like it doing it that way. We've done it that way for other customers and they regretted it. They didn't like it. I remember when I was in the window covering industry and I used to talk people out of doing blackout shades because I didn't think they looked good. Well, I got to the point where I learned that people really liked the blackout shades, even though it didn't look good, because they wanted their rooms dark. So, when you become the professional, you can give good advice. And you all have an opinion. So give them your opinion. The worst that can happen is they do see I never teach anything that's dishonest, unethical, that you would feel uncomfortable. Everything that we the right your reason up that's unstable, right? Good for the host to have an unstable internet, right? Um, jump in there if you will, Liz, and let me know if you lose me. Shoot me a text or something. Let me know. Okay, most people think they need sales training, and what you really need is a better sales system. It's not about training. It's about having a good system. I've seen many people that I've worked with that I've had the store owner says, "Hey, I think I want to move this guy into the warehouse. He's got a terrible closing rate. He's not very good." The guy turns out to be a rock star when he gets a good system. All he needed was a simple system to give a price, but giving a price was complicated. And what people want training on is their complicated system in order how to give a price. Once you dumb it down and make it easy, man, you'll see salespeople will take off if they're good. Imagine putting the best IndyCar driver in the car on top. How good's he going to do in that car? So that is a reflection of a lot of your systems. Okay, you're good, you're efficient, but you're not going to win any races. So you get good gas mileage. That's good, but it's not going to win any races. You need a top performance system to go with what you do, your sales system. Can you guys see with these strategies how you can increase your business by 30% or more in 2026? Increase those average tickets, increase your closing rate. there's two ways here that we have that you can achieve your goals. One, there's a hard way. This is also by Joe Polish. A half business is hard, annoying, lame, frustrating, and expensive. And I put the expensive one in there because when you're experimenting with advertising to see if it works, and you're experimenting with sales processes to see if it works, and you do all these experiments to see if it works, that's very frustrating and expensive. Or you can do it the elf way, which is easy, lucrative, fun, cheaper, and faster. We do the right marketing that works, that's effective, that we know works, and we do the right sales process that we know it's going to increase your closing rate, increase your profit margins, increase your prices. So the Top Goat program is your elf solution. It's easy, lucrative, and fun. So how that works, we have meetings just twice a month, you and me, and then you have unlimited 911 calls and emails. Somebody is just starting with me. They're calling me this morning to get clarity on some stuff because they're going out on an appointment. I'm here for have success. We're going to build your lead generation machine. So I'll tell you exactly what you should be spending and where you should be spending your money. The website needs to be great. I help instruct you in that, and I'll work with you and your web company to make sure that they make the changes and adjustments. Because sometimes the web company will stand up to you. No, we don't think we should do that. We should do it this way. And you need to be able to stand up to them, and I'll help you out with that. So they don't kind of bully you into doing the wrong thing. We need the right messaging, know what works, and I know what hasn't worked, and doing this for years, and the right offers. So giving a discount, 15% off or free upgrade, things like that is not working. People are not getting people excited about it. Have you ever noticed all the advertising is either a discount or durability? That's what the only thing people are selling. They're not selling how exciting and gorgeous the flooring is going to be. I'll show you how to shoot the damn videos. And I stay in touch with my customers online on Facebook. And whenever they do something, I shoot out a message. Hey, try it this way. That's a good video. Let's do this next time. But change your description like this. I do the sales presentations for you. We do a kick-ass sales presentation on every product, your carpet sales presentation, laminate, sand and finish, shower sales presentations. We've done great shower presentations, work really good. They'll increase your closing rate and it'll help you train new salespeople faster. So the Top Gun sales training program, again, selling should be fun and easy. So we show you how to do that. We've got 14 videos that really help people sell, understand pricing, understand what it's like to sell and have fun with customers. Now, Phil started with me back last year in January, had a $900,000 increase in sales, went from 1.5 million or 1.6 million. He purchased the store in 2024 and by himself, he increased it 200,000 from 1.4 to 1.6. We started working together. And one of the things he had to do, and this is something fascinating I'm finding, is sometimes you got to get rid of the experienced guy. The experienced guy that's got a low closing rate, low margins, thinks everybody is a price customer, and is so intimidated by the competition and the prices that they just can't get out of their own way. They won't try something that's better and faster. He hired two new salespeople. One was a stepkid, and the other one, a 23-year-old that was a car salesperson. And with those two new people, Phil doesn't do any selling. He just runs the business. He doesn't work in it. He was able to do $900,000 more with two brand new salespeople, 55% increase. Increased profit margins from 34% to 50%. Total sales are up 55%, 900,000. He got a 47 times return on his investment. Here's some other flooring retail success stories. You might know some of these people. Jamel Flooring, a family-owned business, but the son and his wife went ahead and hired me, and we increased sales at $500,000 this year. But they were stuck at the same numbers year after year after year, and he was ready to make some changes. So we started working together, and they did great. And they're doing fantastic with their marketing and their promotion and selling in the home, closing. Nemeth Interiors, great couple, father-son couple. Got a lot of father-son clients. And Mike Anderson increased sales 300 or did $350,000 his first month after working with me 1 week in the showroom. Adrian Blanco was a cool story because he was selling showers for about $6,000. We bumped it up to 12,500, and his closing rate was like 100% out of the gate because it was so easy to sell and people to buy. And his father does showers too. Just can't believe he's getting that kind of money. And his closing and selling has never been easier. He is doing fantastic videos too. Great guy to follow. So my question and challenge to you is this. Are you guys open to new ideas? Are you willing to make changes? And would you like selling to be fun and easy? If the answer is yes, here's our next step. And who's this right for? I've worked from everything. I've got a couple of brand new startups. People have never sold flooring. Father-son companies, a few of those, even a couple mother-daughter companies. If you have a showroom or if you're just a shop at home, either one of those, I can work with you and we can increase your business. If you're an investor, you don't want to be in the store, but you want to hire a manager and have me work with your manager. I've got a few of those clients. We got large companies doing well over 5 million, and then small companies of startups. But partnerships, if you want to develop a partnership, we work with you on that as well. If you're doing material only, I'm not crazy about material only, but we've worked with material only companies to help them, and installation only companies as well. But in installation only companies, you guys got to sell materials. That's where the money is. And then expanding. If you want to expand into other showrooms or get other products, we help you with that. The question is do we align? Is that going to be a benefit? You got to figure that out. Give me a call. Go to jerrylevinson.com/apply. Let's see. I'm committed to helping you reach your goals, but are you committed? Are you committed to doing greater things in 2026? Will you commit to improving your marketing and messaging? You can't do the same old stuff and expect better results. It's not going to work. Are you committed to trying out a proven selling process that's better for you, your salespeople, and your customer? And that's one of the biggest challenges we have is when the salespeople won't make the changes that it's proven. Every time somebody makes these changes, they get much better results. Will you commit to run your business in a more efficient and effective way in tracking your performance? A big part of this is let's track your sales numbers. Let's track your closing rate. And when you're tracking those numbers, you can't help but to do better. Nobody is going to keep score without wanting a better score. It's just natural. It's not about paying people more. It's not about getting angry and throwing a tantrum at your employees. It's not about threatening them, but it's simple. Have a weekly meeting and keep track of your numbers. Week after week, you go over your numbers. I have one client that doesn't want to have a weekly meeting. I'm like, all right, well, at least let's every Monday, I want you to share your numbers with your employees, until we get to the point where you have a weekly meeting. But having that weekly meeting is going to be huge. So if you commit, I promise you that you're going to become more profitable and you're going to enjoy coming to work, and you can set it up so you don't even have to. So if that's what you want to do is let the thing run without you, let me know. So if you're ready to profit now, go to jerrylevinson.com/apply, and I'd love to work with you and see how we can help you grow your business in 2026. All right, guys, and I'm going to stay on the call. So if any of you guys have questions about anything we talked about, um, go ahead and shout them out to me. Hey, Steve, from across the pond, was it like 3 in the morning there? – 8:30, 8:30 at night, or 8:30 tomorrow? Hey, Tommy. All right, talk to you later, man. Steve, if it's 8:30 in the morning, can you give me tell me how the stock market's doing tomorrow? Oh no, it's Saturday tomorrow. Doggone it. That won't work. Boy, that's confusing, man. Work with somebody across the pond and they have not only is a time difference, but then they go by meters instead of square foot. That messes with your head. Hey, Brian, talk to you later, man. Thanks, Frank. Talk to you later. Happy New Year. That was so good that none of you have questions. Ah, doggone it. Come on, guys.
Jerry,
Oh,
can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh, before I leave, I wanted to talk to you. Well, maybe just maybe ask you. Uh, I've been interested in probably starting an SMS marketing.
yeah.
And I mean email marketing too, but more SMS. What's your experience in that? And what do you have to
Not a
say
lot
about
with
it?
SMS. I think it'll work better when it comes to going after a targeted audience like real estate agents or contractors, something where you can repeat that marketing to
Yeah.
them.
I
But
was I was trying to target I was trying to target those two plus installers as well.
well,
Uh
installers would be great. Yeah. So
yes.
having that list, but going after regular retail clients is probably not going to be very effective.
Yeah, no, I was not trying to do that. I get a lead report of all the building permits every month.
Yeah.
So I was trying to target all home builders and target real estate agents as well to see if
Um,
we can partner with them, you know.
yeah, you definitely want to put together a program for your installers
Hmm.
that can show you a way to build a really kick-ass effective program
Yeah.
to get those installers in, you know.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
um, Christy, work with franchises that don't have control. Yeah, I've done that. Boy, that's a challenge. And so we had to be really creative with their marketing to help get them more business. That's a bit frustrating when you don't have control over your own website. So you have to be very creative. So I did work with a franchisee that, I mean, she's the mayor of her town now, figuratively, not literally, but we did some very unique marketing that worked really good. So I can point you out to her too later on. You reach out to me and I'll send you her information and you can see how that worked.
Thanks.
Okay.
so Jerry, getting all this new business, where are we finding these installers at?
Where are you finding the installers? Well, I think when you're getting more business, the installers do come out of the woodwork and you're able to have better processes and systems for them. I know with our company, we had installers coming to us looking for business. Um, but part of it is paying them a little bit more and having better processes and systems. So, um, and it won't be difficult to pay them a little bit more, but they're not attracted to the money. What the installers are really attracted to, I found the two things that are well, three things I'll say that are most important to installers. One, they want to be kept busy because it's hard to pull away an installer from a business that's keeping them busy. Two, they want to have all the details for their job. So if your process is good, that's really good. And number three, and this is vitally important, they want your attention. You know, they want you to give them the attaboys and they want you to show up to the job sites, make sure they're doing a good job. If you just leave them alone and trust them, they'll hate working for you.
Cool. Good
So,
advice. I believe you're correct on that one.
yeah, one really good way to do this, Brian, that I mean, just kick ass way to take care of installers. When they do a job, you want to ask the customer to rate the installer from 1 to 5. They rate the installer, say they give them a 5. Hey, would you do me a favor? Would you go? I'm going to send you a link for a review. can you mention the installer's name? Here's his name. Can you mention his name in the review? Because we'll give him a little bonus or something. And then when they do that, what I want you to do is print the review out and highlight the installer's name and post it on your wall or warehouse when they go to pick up stuff. And when other installers see other people up there, they want on your Hall of Fame too. So you can make that a Hall of Fame and start posting reviews someplace where they can see it.
Ego.
Gotcha. Yep. Makes sense.
And it's great for reviews too, because the when the customer does it, it makes their review longer and better.
Right. Right. All right. Great advice. Hey, thanks for helping my buddy Jared over there in Jerseyville.
Oh yeah, I
He
love
said
working with
he's real
Jared.
happy with your program. He said he's
Awesome,
super happy. So, well, hopefully we'll see you soon.
great. Yeah,
All
sounds
right.
good, Brian.
Thanks, Jared. Bye bye.
All right, brother. Bye. All right, gang. If that's it, I give you permission to go out, have a happy new year, and make a lot of money. Would you guys go out there and sell some damn flooring? All right. I'll be your biggest cheerleader. I want you all to be wildly successful. Okay, gang. Take care. Happy New Year.